Hello again. A correspondent pointed out to me this morning that the BBC is determined to claim that Chief Constable Craig Guildford has retired rather than resigned. This, of course, suggests an element of choice, that he has come naturally to the end of his working career, rather than having been caught out in a terrible scandal and resigned before somebody decided to sack him. This man is typical of many senior police officers these days in several different ways. One is his desire to suck up to and kowtow to Muslims at any opportunity which presents itself. In the description to this video, I give a link to a clip of film taken last year in which he greets a room full of Muslims in Arabic and thanks them for allowing him to speak to what he calls the leaders and elders of the community, by which he means, of course, just Muslims. Does he behave in this way with any other community? Does he address the leaders and elders of the Jewish community in Hebrew? Do you think he speaks Punjabi to a group of Sikhs? Of course he doesn't. It is only Muslims that he feels it necessary to address in this craven and undignified fashion. It's only Muslims who receive special consideration in this way, rather than Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians, or Jews. This is, of course, partly because members of those other faiths are not going to charge around threatening violence if they don't get their own way. And they're not allowed really to dictate who can and cannot enter Britain to attend a football match. Another thing which I cannot help noticing about Craig Guildford is something which he also has in common with many senior police officers today, in that he wears a glittering array of medals. Not so long ago, when you saw a senior police officer wearing medals, you knew that they were the genuine article. They meant that he had been a soldier, had fought in a war, or done something conspicuously brave. Remember Robert Mark, the Commissioner of Police in London a few years ago? He wore medals because he was in the infantry during the Second World War and took part in the D-Day landings. There was a man who deserved his medals. What has Craig Guildford done, though, to merit all those shiny medals? Well, you can see his medals in the thumbnail to this video. The first one on the left means that he's a serving brother in the St John's Ambulance Corps, which is a way of recognising those who have volunteered with St John's. The other medals were awarded for being in the police when King Charles was crowned, being in his job during the Queen's Platinum and Diamond Jubilee, the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal, that sort of thing. These are all completely meaningless. Seeing him sport all those gongs puts me in mind of that man who was recently fined for dressing up as an admiral and wearing a bunch of medals which he bought online to a Remembrance Day service. There is that same Walter Mitty type pride in meaningless decorations. I, for one, am glad to see the back of this dreadful man, whether he has retired or resigned, but I fear that the next person to take the post will be cut from the same cloth. The police are not really our friends these days. They regard ordinary law-abiding folk as those whom they can easily ignore and disregard. Their real interest is in dealing with communities, and in particular the Muslim community. No wonder so many of us have little respect these days for our police. They are most of them not worthy of our respect.